Everyone writes one. At least everyone who fights in a war does.
Death Letter is the story of Army Chaplain David Peters, who goes to Iraq, comes home and finds out his wife's having an affair. Every single institution in his life, his nation, his wife, and his church has failed him. He goes through the motions. He drinks, has sex with a lot of women, behaves destructively. But God doesn't leave him, and in the end it brings him back.
One of the things I learned in the Army was the acronym BLUF, bottom line up front. So I'm going to give you the bottom line. I'm asking for your support for this film, Death Letter, God, Sex, and War by Cody Knotts. The film is based on the book, Death Letter, that I wrote during the difficult days after I came home from Iraq. I served as a chaplain in Iraq. I went to war full of enthusiasm and hope. I went to be with the men and women that were serving over there. I went to be their pastor and their minister in that really difficult and dark experience. I participated in the war, and when I came home, I found out that the war participated in me.
So we need you to help us make this film. Now, this isn't going to be some multi-million-dollar blockbuster and everybody's going to rush to the theater and see. But those aren't the films in the long run that are remembered. They're not the ones that actually talk about the human experience and change the place we've been going.
Every week I get emails, letters, phone calls from veterans and people that love veterans and care about our nation's warriors. And they tell me that the book helped them to know they weren't alone. And that's why I wrote it. I wrote it because I couldn't find a book that would help me. I couldn't find a story that would tell the story of a spiritual injury that happened in war. So I wrote about that.
We have an amazing team on this project. We've been blessed that Eki Wallace, wife of Terrence Malick, the legendary director, is going to be part of the production team. But we need your help for pre-production so that we can make this film as amazing as possible, so that we can get the location scouting done, so we can find just the right actors. We'll find the funding after that, but we need your help to get it started.
The kind of movie that Cody's making and Death Letter and the story that Death Letter tells is the kind of story and film that a combat veteran will turn to his spouse and say, yeah, that's what I felt and that's what I experienced. It's the kind of story that a parent's going to understand their child better after they've seen it. It's the kind of story that's going to help the whole nation understand the cost of war. War is expensive. It costs billions and trillions of dollars. It also caught the human cost of the deaths, the amputations. This story will be told in Death Letter, and also the wounds of the soul that no one can see. These will be very visible in this film. It's a story that's going to show this vividly in a way that's going to be uncomfortable for many, but also resolve into a story of hope and healing.
So the question is, why support this project? There's so many different projects to support. The answer is simple. Because every one of these men that we see who gave their life matter. And the problem in our culture is that we actually look at these men as assets, like a tank, like a plane. What we want to do in this film is show them as human beings, because they are.
It's a responsibility of the whole community to bring someone back from war. And one of the ways we do that is we listen to the stories of the warriors. We listen to the stories of the warrior caregivers like mine. And I'm asking you to listen to my story, to support this film financially, to share the news of this film with the people that you know have the resources to support it, and to get the story out so that it'll be a big success and reach a lot of people that are coming home from war.
One of the things David points out when he's working at Walter Reed is he wishes that his leg would have been blown off. Now that's honest, and the reason is, at least we all say to him, that man, he's a hero. We see his wound, but the wounds David had, nobody sees. He carries them around, he deals with them every day, and David realizes, as do I, because I went through a similar experience, realizes that God put him through this so he'd have this story to tell to you. And that's why we need your help.
Death Letter is about, refers to the letters that soldiers write when they think they might die. And I wrote one in Iraq. When I came home from Iraq, I realized that the person who had written it no longer existed, that I had changed. If you've ever looked in the mirror after a traumatic experience and wondered who you were, this story is for you. If you've ever been cheated on, if you've ever cheated, if you've ever been betrayed, the story is for you. This is a story of death and resurrection that has been going on for thousands of years, and it's especially real today as millions of veterans are coming home from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I ask you to support their story and this story.
Maybe, just maybe, when we do this film, it'll enable us as a country to influence people to not just throw these men away. They come home, they lose an arm, we give them $50,000. Would you lose your arm for $50,000? I wouldn't. We need to rescue Christianity from all the politics that are tied to it. Now you're about to watch a video clip of the 91st Psalm. Soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan put the 91st Psalm in their helmets, on their bodies, because they believe that if they have it with them, they won't die.
He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fleeth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold, and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder. The young lion and dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because He hath set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because He hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him, and shew him my salvation.